Hello, Nicci the Coach here. I am a United States Marine turned resilience coach, and I created this series because I would like to discuss and share some of my tips and insights for folks with higher emotional intelligence and discuss the subsequent burnout, frustration, and the poor boundaries that really come as a result of just feeling things deeper than most other people. And in today's video, I'm going to be tackling a pretty hard-hitting topic. It's the foundation of resilience, and that is congruence. Before I jump into the meat and the potatoes of the subject, please subscribe to my channel so that I can continue sharing these tips and insights with you. Okay, so why would I say congruence is the foundation of resilience? Well, resilience is all about being able to accept conditions as they are and then make the best of them. Before I got started in building up my resilience, I spent years believing that because I was showing up and getting things done, that I was doing okay. And then one day I just hit a wall. My mind and my heart just could not take the pressure of that image maintenance that I had been demanding of myself. And it demanded that I start paying attention. And that's really all a breakdown is. It's your brain's way of saying, alert, there is damage happening and you're not paying attention. So I realized that I had decades of wounds that I had neglected because I thought that ignoring a problem rendered it powerless. It sounds stupid when I say it out loud, but I truly did believe that that's how it worked. So the reason that incongruence matters in your life is because, well, I want you to think of incongruence as being like holes in your energy vessel. So it is a drain on your mental, your emotional, and your physical energy, especially if you are a HSP, highly sensitive person, or an empath like I am. While one small leak is not going to make or break your day, dozens of small leaks add up to a loss of vitality. So some indications that you have energy leaks is if your default feelings, like everyday feelings, are ones of feeling burned out, despair, frustration, overwhelm, catastrophizing, and themes that boil down to shame, like feelings like, if I could manage my time and my resources better, then I'd be deserving of success and I would feel good. That default of shame of I don't deserve to feel good is there. This was a big insight that I landed within my own work just a few weeks ago. And that's one thing about this work is you land on a lot of things in the midst of doing some teaching. You end up doing a lot of learning in the same process. The energy leak makes progress really, really challenging. You can't make progress when you have that constant drain on your energy. You end up coming home and you don't even have the energy to feed yourself a good meal or do anything productive. You know, you kick your clothes that are on the foot of your bed over to the side, you eat fast food, and you veg out watching Netflix because that's all you have the energy to do. You are completely depleted. And so by the time you get home at the end of the day, you have nothing left, especially nothing left for you because once again, we're empaths. We're really bad at showing up for ourselves, but we're amazing at showing up for other people. Surprise, surprise, progress is a little harder to achieve when you're being pulled in 8 million directions all at the same time. It's possible to be a multi-potentialite like I am and have several projects going on that are still congruent with one another. So you're not making progress in just one area of your life at the expense of another area. So the way that congruence might look in your life is when what you do, what you say, and what you believe are all in alignment. They all agree with one another. So congruence is the keystone to living a healthy life, and it's the easiest way to manage your inner conflict and your inner stress. You are not faking it to make it. You're not insisting, I'm fine, it's fine, this is all fine. And it's not living in denial of your state of mind. So you can be in integrity, and that is that you are undivided in your efforts when you are congruent. So each behavior that you carry out props up another separate behavior because they're all in agreement. And it feels really easy. The act of being congruent is not in itself a frustrating act. So when I'm congruent, like my gut literally feels settled, and I feel kind of like a broad and a genuine sense of acceptance for where I am and what I'm doing and what lies ahead of me. It feels like an exhale. It's like releasing the pressure on the seal, and it's being able to be honest with yourself. And the natural consequence of being able to be honest with yourself about how you're actually feeling is going to make it easier for you to just give yourself permission to feel the entire spectrum of emotions, which is something that we just don't do well. And truthfully, I don't think I can stress the importance of knowing how to feel all the emotions without getting caught up in judging whether or not you should feel those emotions that you're feeling. If you're qualifying an emotion, or if you're trying to justify why you feel a certain way, that's incongruence. Congruence is not concerned with evidence and proof. Congruence is the raw, unfiltered confession of how you really are doing in this moment. You can't address a problem that you've hidden away and you've denied. Sorry, it doesn't work. I've tried it. Take it from me. So you have to confront the problem and you have to admit that you're struggling with it. You have to admit it to yourself. Learn to put words to the feeling and notice where you feel it in your body. So for instance, my anxiety shows up in my stomach and my hands and my ears. So I know when I'm feeling anxiety. And you really need to stop labeling feelings as being good or bad. Like, anger is not a negative emotion. What you do with your anger can either be constructive or destructive, but anger by itself is just a neutral yet powerful feeling. So think of emotions as being tools. They are by themselves neutral. So think of anger as a hammer. A hammer is a really great tool for constructing boundaries, and it's really, really good for driving things home. But not every single problem needs to be addressed with a hammer. Not every single solution involves driving something home. So you don't want to be using a hammer in place of a toothbrush. Different problem needs a different tool. So learning to identify how emotions are useful is a really great step in learning how to sit with and really properly channel your emotions so that the message is received, you can get it done, and you can go on with your day. The black and white thinking of good emotions and bad emotions is at the heart of most forms of incongruence. So, for example, if you believe yourself to be a really secure person, and then you have one moment of feeling jealousy, well, that feeling of jealousy is colliding with your belief that you're a secure person. So if you're unconscious of that feeling of jealousy, you're automatically going to be incongruent because what you believe and what you feel are opposing one another. But as soon as you call the feeling what it is, which is jealousy, immediately you are congruent. So even if the yucky feeling stays after you admit what you're feeling, you are now congruent because now you're not insisting that something is anything other than what it actually is. You're being honest with yourself. Some tips you can use to become more aware and more congruent in your day-to-day life is journaling. I know a lot of people say that, but there is so much power in putting language to your emotions. And if you're really not even sure what emotion you're feeling, you can go ahead and put a broad category on it and then literally go look up more specific expressions of that emotion later. Let's say you're just mad, right? You're on, I'm mad. But then after you write it down and you go back and you think about it, you're like, actually, I feel resentful. Actually, I feel betrayed. I feel insignificant. I feel defensive. I think I'm living in denial and that is upsetting to me. Actually, I'm not mad. I'm just really sad and I've buried it under anger because anger seems safer. And if you're someone who kind of struggles to write or it's just journaling is really not your thing, go ahead and pull out your phone and get a recording app on it and record yourself talking about something that's been an issue for you. It's a really great way for you to objectively listen for which words or even the intonation that you use when you're talking about a certain thing. You can hear when there is a word that has an emotional connotation to you. You can hear it in your voice. Plus, it's another way for you to learn how to like your own voice if you don't like your own voice like I do. That's literally what I did to get over my discomfort with being in front of the camera and hearing my own voice, was just doing it and accepting that it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be in my head. And if it is, just don't tell me. And then when you're done, actually go back and listen to it and listen for some insight, because you're going to notice that there are some reoccurring words or some reoccurring patterns in your language. And once you start noticing those patterns, you're free to explore your history with that emotion and find out how else you can experience it in a more empowered way. Just because you've been feeling that emotion a certain way up to this point doesn't mean you have to stop feeling the emotion. You just need to reorient your relationship with the emotion. You're allowed to feel the same emotion in a different way. It's part of growing up. Ask yourself, like, how else can I experience that emotion in a much more empowered way? I know that this is, the emotion that I've been relying on, but what if I stopped relying it? What if I started distributing the weight from that emotion to others and let it become a more balanced approach? If both of those approaches just sound too demanding, then just start writing down either some movies or songs that you really like and look into like the lyrics or the themes of the movie. Regardless of how you decide to go about approaching the dense subject of feeling your feelings, I hope you got some really helpful insights and tips from this video. If you have any questions about congruence or resilience, or if you just have a story to share, if something about this video resonated in you and you feel like you have a message to share with others, go ahead and put it in the comment section, because you never know who is going to relate to your story. And I always say, story is medicine. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.